I'm getting ready to do a fluid and filter change on a transmission into my '09 Pontiac G8 V6. Once I crawled under there, I found that my transmission is not like any of the ones I've seen on the internet that I've watched over the last few months. So it's like starting from back to stage one. So the transmission in my V6 is a 5L40-E. It's a hydromatic made in France, and it doesn't fill and drain the way that all the ones I've looked at so far. So this is what I'm going to have here on my V6. I do have the right parts. I got a new gasket, even though sometimes they say they're reusable, but I would not do that. And I got all the GM parts, GM fluid, the GM filter, came with 2 plugs. If you have one that was made somewhere else except for USA, this would be your drain plug. My pan doesn't have a drain plug, so you have to do it the sloppy way. Drop the pan down, let it splash all over hell. This is the fill plug, goes into the side of the transmission, and that's how you fill it. That's how you make sure it has enough fluid in it. Sort of like the old standard transmissions from the old days. You fill it until it flows out of the plug, and you stick the plug in, and it's good to go. That is after it's warmed up. And a part number for that is this, also AC Delco. So I didn't use any aftermarket made in God knows where parts. I wouldn't do that. Who needs the aggravation? But it just didn't start out the way I thought it would. The procedure is going to be different than anything I've seen yet so far. So I thought I'd make a short video of doing this work. So let's see how it goes. So if the pan would have had a drain plug, it would have been right here. It's just an indentation in the pan. Of course, this one doesn't have it, so we have to do that the hard way. The fill plug is on the driver's side. Way in the back. Right there. Right there. I have a new one with a new seal on it. I'm going to stick a hose in there and run it up to the engine compartment. I got some long vinyl hose that'll fit in that hole. I'm going to fill it that way. Easy enough for me. So let me get all these pan bolts out, get this drained, the filter out, and get started. So the first thing you want to do is pull the fill plug first, because if you can't get that out, if it's seized or whatever, then you can't do anything here. So start with that first. I pulled that out, and actually quite a bit of fluid came out. I was surprised by that. Probably about a quart or so. The pan bolts are at 10mm heads on them. I did the ones in the back first. I'll try to loosen the ones in the front, kind of tip the pan down a little bit, maybe, to get it to come out so it doesn't make a big mess. We'll see how that goes. Well, that went pretty much the way I thought it would. I got some fluid to come out of the back of the pan for a while. Once I took the last bolt out, it slipped out of my hands, and of course the pan dropped in my drain tub here. Oh well, it has to be all cleaned up anyway. It's going to drip for a while. I'm going to pull that filter out and match it with the one I have, the new one. It looks identical right now, and get that put in. Okay, got all the old parts out, and comparing them with the new, they're identical. Same part numbers. They look exactly right. The problem I've had with the old one here is that the rubber seal didn't come out. It's pretty hard rubber, and I'm going to have to get up there and try to dig that out, get the old one out of there before I can install a new one. That's probably going to take a while. The gasket is identical, same part number, so it's nice to know things will fit. I took out about 6 quarts of automatic transmission fluid. I gotta say, it is pretty dark. It doesn't smell bad or anything, but it's a lot darker than new. So I'm glad I'm changing this, even though my '09 G8 only has 66,000 miles on it, but it is 11 years old. So there's that. So I'm glad I'm going to get this finished. Just another maintenance item to get done. Let me go see if I can get that seal out. Well, I got the O-rings out. See, I use a few nifty little tools to pull them down and pop them out. They weren't too bad. But you make sure you don't damage the bore, you know, and don't scratch up the aluminum casing in there when you pop those out of there. They came out pretty good. Cut the torque wrench out. I'm going to torque down all those bolts for the pan, 8 foot-pounds. I did wash it out. It was no big deal. Anybody can do that. The magnet had a little bit of black goo in it, but not very much. The pan was clean, nothing in it, no metal, no pieces of anything. So that's all a good sign. Well, the pan gaskets are all torqued down, so we're ready to fill it up. So my plan is use gravity. So this is my setup to refill the transmission. Some vinyl tubing, a little bit of copper plumbing work, and a big funnel. It all fits together nice and snug. I'm assuming it's going to work out okay. Get our 6 quarts of ATF in there. Then of course I got to start the engine up, let it run till the tranny's completely warmed up. Pull out the side plug and see a little bit comes out of there. If it does, hey, we're good to go. So hopefully this will be the end of this project. To keep my G8 on the road a little longer. Nice car. I really love it. Well, now it's a long wait. Gotta let the motor and tranny warm up to operating temperature before I pull the side plug and let out the excess fluid. Stick the new plug in, tighten it down, job done. So, it's a pain in the butt, it's a messy job. If you want to do it yourself, at least you know it's done right.